We are pleased to honor and to confer the honorary degree Doctor of Laws on Farah Jimenez, J.D. Dr. Joyce Jewell, Assistant Professor of Education, will present the candidate. Sister Eileen Marnian, a member of the Board of Directors, will present the doctoral hood.
Good morning. When President George H.W. Bush used the slogan, "1,000 points of light," he was encouraging citizens to be a guiding light for others. Farah Jimenez has answered that call her entire life. For the children and community of Philadelphia, Farah isn't just a point of light. She is a beacon. Her deep commitment to helping others took root at the University of Pennsylvania, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in European history with a minor in urban studies, and then graduated from Penn's Law School. Farah has spent more than 20 years as a leader in the nonprofit sector, serving as president and CEO of the Philadelphia Education Fund since April of 2016. She has been at the forefront of the effort to ensure that every young person in Philadelphia has access to high-quality education to prepare them to succeed in college and careers. The Education Fund founded the Early Warning Systems, a nationally recognized, evidence-based student dropout prevention tool developed jointly with Johns Hopkins University. A trustee at LaSalle University, Farah also served from 2014 to 2018 on the School Reform Commission, the governing body of the School District of Philadelphia. The commission is responsible for the stewardship of a $2.6 billion budget, serving more than 200,000 students in the district and 80 charter schools. She has served in executive management roles in agencies engaged in community revitalization, affordable housing development, and social services. This includes serving as executive director of Mount Airy USA and president and CEO of the People's Emergency Center, Pennsylvania's oldest and most comprehensive social services and community development agency in West Philadelphia. Farah, who has been described as a woman with quiet determination who knows how to get things done, was a gubernatorial appointee to the Pennsylvania Commission on Women and the Pennsylvania Homeless Education Task Force. She is a board member of the United Way and is the founder of the Visiting Scholars Program, which conducts research to inform policy affecting vulnerable families. She is currently on the editorial board of Al Dia, Philadelphia's Spanish-language newspaper. Farah also writes a column for the Philadelphia Inquirer and is a regular panelist on WPVI's Inside Story. Sister President, it is with great respect that we recognize the achievements of Farah Jimenez, a woman who has challenged conventional thinking and who has been a catalyst for positive change, for the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
Farah Jimenez, I am pleased to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa. Farah will now deliver the commencement address.
Wow, to hear those words repeated back, I'm a little astounded and actually quite emotional. Not just because of that, but because the way we start our commencement ceremony was with prayer and with a salute to our flag. And I have to tell you that that was the way I was raised. I was raised in a home of faith, and I was also raised in a home that chose the American flag. My parents were immigrants to this nation. And this country gave us so much, in particular, and particularly because it is Mother's Day weekend, I want to salute my mother who is here. In the 1970s, it was an unusual thing to be a woman and to be a doctor. And she was both. She's a small woman, 100 pounds soaking wet, with a pronounced foreign accent and brown skin, and also an immigrant, so you can imagine what an accomplishment that was. And the junk mail gods, when they would send us the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes, could never get the mailer addressed correctly, because it was always addressed Dr. and Mrs. Jimenez. She's a woman who continued to push and break through professional barriers, and she would often get asked to speak on university campuses about women with odd jobs, seated next to, of course, a female cop and truck driver. I've always admired my mother for standing apart, doing what was hard, and modeling for her daughters those qualities. So yes, indeed, I always wanted to be like my mom. I wanted to be the next Dr. Jimenez, and thank you, Chestnut Hill College, for allowing me to do that today. Thank you to the board of Chestnut Hill College, Chair Catherine Moulton, Sister President Carol Jean Vale, Dr. Juliana Mosley, who got me this gig, and all of my newfound friends at Chestnut Hill College for this incredible honor. Thank you to the moms and to the dads, to the friends and families of today's graduates for supporting and encouraging them in their journey. And thank you to all who are gathered here for joining me now in a thundering round of applause for Chestnut Hills College class of 2019. Graduates, listen to that, because this is your day. It's your graduation day. And if your commencement goes according to tradition, you're going to remember very little of it. Which, if I'm to be honest, as your commencement speaker, comes as a great relief. From my graduation, I remember schwitzing in my graduation robe, wishing I decorated my cap. I see a lot of decorated caps out there, and wondering, what does the commencement speaker mean by girls, wear your pearls? I don't know what to tell you, but that's really all about what I remember. And now I'm afraid that that's what you're going to remember too. And now, just like when someone tells you don't think about pink elephants and all you do is start thinking about pink elephants, that I feel like this is what I've just done to you. So imagine the tragedy and the irony if all you remember from your commencement day is my commencement day and the story of the pearls or the purple elephants or pink elephants. So gosh, I think that would be a total fail. But here's the silver lining. If I've learned anything in life, it's that you can't fail without trying. And you can't try without courage. And courage is what I want to talk to you about today. So why courage? As you set about your life, you will need courage to pursue that dream job and to quit it, to love and to leave, to pursue justice, to have that honest conversation, to lead and to follow. Courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without it, you don't have any of the others. But here's the funny thing about courage. It takes courage to exercise courage. Take it from someone who knows. When I was in grade school, I was shy, painfully shy. I'd even say painfully, painfully shy. And thank God for my older sister, Miss Gregarious. She managed our social calendar in elementary school. She recruited and assigned me my friends. She let me happily tag along with her exploits. She'd always ask for an extra lollipop from the bank teller because she knew I'd never go get one myself. Liz lived and lives life to the fullest, and I, on the other hand, I just observed it. You should know, my classmates never really realized I was shy. No. They thought I was mute. Now, by the time I was in high school, it began to dawn on me that at some point, my sister was going to move out, and I needed to make a change and fast. So I hatched a plan. I told my parents, I begged them to send me to summer camp 800 miles away from home. And they thought I just wanted to go to dance camp, and I did, of course. But I also wanted to try on a new me, where there would be no witnesses, or at least none that mattered. So here was my plan. To introduce myself to every camper in my bunk before they introduced themselves to me. And that sounds really easy, right? On the morning of my flight to Michigan, I left for the airport with all the confidence of a first-time skier staring down that expert-only slope. I buckled into my seat and took great pains to avoid eye contact with the harmless woman sitting next to me. And just like that first-time skier, I could feel my confidence waver. What was I thinking? I can't do this. Heck, I can't even look at the woman seated next to me. How am I ever going to rise to the challenge? And then I felt it, as one does, that teeny, tiny bit of fight in me, and I knew it was now or never. So I took a deep breath, and I pushed past the fear, and I made deliberate eye contact with the woman sitting next to me, and I said, "Hi." And then something happened that took me by complete surprise. She said, "Hi." It was really simple as that. This woman and I chatted through much of the flight, and when I got to camp, I was ready. Not only did I meet my goal for the summer, but when I came home, I was transformed, mute no longer. Courage demands restraint. Cœur, the French word for heart, lies at the root of courage. But courage takes more than heart. 2,300 years ago, in his treatise on virtues, Aristotle defined the courageous man as one who withstands and fears those things which it is necessary to fear and withstand, and on account of the right reason, and how and when it is necessary. Okay, I'm going to translate that. In tweet speak, that translates to hashtag in the face of fear act, hashtag act for the right reasons, and hashtag act at the right time. It is our heart, our passion, that enables us to push through our fear enough to act. But to be truly courageous, we must employ reason and deliberation. Courage is neither cowardice, nor is it impulsiveness. And now listen to me carefully, graduates, as it's not too fine a point. Don't be a coward, and don't be a hothead. For 4 years, I served on the School Reform Commission, which is the governing body for the School District of Philadelphia. As you know, as you heard, we were responsible for a nearly $3 billion budget and the education of 210,000 students. But at times, the toughest part of the job was not the governance, but it was to sit through the public testimony, especially right before a tough vote. People would be angry, and understandably so. And they didn't hide it. They'd scream, they'd shout, and they'd attack the commissioners with vitriol and ad hominem attacks. And this could go on for hours, 4 to 5 hours a night. And people would often ask me, "How do you stand it?" And I tell you, it was hard. Let me tell you, you don't know how many times I wanted to spew that venom right back in their faces. But you learn. And what I learned is that if I could still myself long enough to let their anger wash over me, I could find empathy, I could isolate the areas of agreement, and maybe instead of standing on opposite ends of an argument, we could find ourselves on the same side of the issue to help Philadelphia's children. I learned that exercising the courage to sit and listen could be just as powerful as exercising the courage to speak. So don't be fooled by modern-day attempts to redefine Aristotle's most important of virtues. It is not courage to wear white before Memorial Day, nor is it courage to shout down opposing voices. True courage is exhibited in the effort to sit and listen, really listen, to someone with whom you'd vehemently disagree. In today's heated and divisive political environment, we might all do well to exercise more of that type of courage. Courage is a muscle. To get stronger, it needs exercise. Now, fear is a powerful force and a seductive one because it requires nothing of us. That's why so many at the end of their journey cite as their most powerful regret failing to have had the courage to live the life they wanted. Graduates, you have your diploma, and more importantly, you have your education, which my parents always sent to me, was one of the few things in life, or is one of the few things in life, that no one can take away from you. You will succeed, and you will fail. So why not try failing to live the life you most want? Don't search for the courage to do this. Develop the courage to do this. Exercise your courage muscle. Sign up for challenges that stretch you past the limits you believe you have. If you get uneasy around the homeless and the infirm, Volunteer at a soup kitchen, a shelter, a hospice. If you're moved by religious and social justice convictions, but are afraid to voice your opinion, volunteer for a mission trip, canvass for a political campaign, run for office. If you're afraid of the spotlight, take up an instrument, sign on to improv, audition for a musical, give a commencement speech. I encourage you to keep a bucket list of courageous adventures and see where they lead you. 15 years ago on my bucket list was learning to skate backwards. Last year, that adventure led me to Massachusetts for the United States Figure Skating Association's Adult National Championships, and yes, that's a thing. There are more than 600 adult figure skaters across the country who gathered ages 21 to 80 plus. We were all there gathered to compete, and in the span of 4 days, I had the best skate of my life, and I had the worst skate of my life. I came in second, and second to last. And I wouldn't have had it any other way, because each time I took center ice and wrestled with those butterflies in my stomach and the jelly in my knees, I could be certain of one thing. My courage muscle was getting a workout. So class of 2019, graduates, I close with a quote from Atticus Finch, the protagonist in Harper Lee's best-selling novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. What good are wings without the courage to fly? Class of 2019, today you earn your wings. Now summon your courage and fly.